I want to begin with two questions about inequality in America's seniors, that is, the population past 65. First is, does the country's retirement system produce a defensible range of replacement rates for both rich and poor workers, active workers? Second, how does the distribution of income among seniors compare to that of prime-age Americans? Do elderly Americans face unreasonably high risks of poverty, or do they, on the contrary, enjoy unusually favored perches in the overall income distribution? Now, these are apparently very straightforward questions, but they're not all that easy to answer. And my paper emphasizes two reasons for this. The first is there are measurement problems that make it hard to estimate money incomes of seniors using household survey data alone, which is what most researchers have at their disposal. It's not that seniors do a bad job of reporting their income, so long as their incomes consist exclusively of wage earnings and Social Security benefits. But if they include something else, then the responses of aged Americans, like those of non-aged Americans, aren't terribly good. And of course, one of the important sources of income in old age is the income you derive from workplace pensions and your private saving. And that's a fairly important type of income for the aged. It's not very important for the non-aged. There's also a conceptual problem in defining income in a way that captures all the resource flows that help the aged population support its consumption. One crucial item is the flow of housing services connected to the ownership of the home that you live in. Another is the generous subsidy from an employer, or especially for the aged, from the government for the health insurance coverage that they obtain. We can dream up ways to put these kinds of income sources, income flows, if we knew them, into good measures of inequality, but the fact of the matter is we don't have very good ways to measure them. It's practically impossible to implement the best methods of including those kinds of incomes in the statistics. One thing we can be confident of, I think, is the country's mandatory public DB pension, Social Security, is generous to workers who have low and below average career earnings, period. Chart 1, this chart should be familiar to all the pension mavens in this room, and I'm sure there are a couple. It shows 3 schedules of replacement rates. Each line is associated with benefit claiming at a particular age, 67 at the top, 65 in the middle, 62 at the bottom. It shows the gross Social Security replacement rates associated with claiming benefits at age 67, depending on how much you earned over the course of your life. That's on the horizontal axis. For workers born in 1960, on the far left, the lowest paid single worker claiming benefits at 67 can get 76% of his or her average lifetime gross wages replaced by the Social Security pension. This is a much better deal than the pension that can be claimed by the maximum wage worker, who's over on the far right. The gross replacement rate over there is just 27%. That's 47 percentage points less than that obtainable by somebody at the 12th percentile of the lifetime earnings distribution. A very low wage earner certainly paid FICA payroll taxes on his wages while at work, so in fact, the net replacement rate of that worker is even higher than is shown on this graph because their gross wage was reduced by paying the FICA tax, whereas they don't pay any taxes on their retirement income. For average wage and highly paid workers, the U.S. provides net replacement rates that rank us in the bottom third, not in the very bottom, but in the bottom third of 22 countries where the OECD measures this average replacement rate. In the USA, OECD analysts estimate that about 50% of net pay is replaced by the after-tax value of a Social Security pension. Your average financial planner doesn't advise that you aim for a 50% replacement rate when you retire. I think 70% to 80% of wage replacement is closer to the mark that they have in mind. This means that the average to well-to-do workers in the United States who want to have a higher replacement rate in the range that financial planners propose is not going to want to rely solely on their Social Security pension in old age. And the evidence is they don't. They have a lot more income than just the Social Security pension. The United States offers a couple of options for tax-favored voluntary retirement savings. First is the employer-sponsored retirement plan, which has been the focus of a lot of this council's research over the years. There's always a second option, and that is IRA. This chart, which is based on This chart, which is based on the 2019 IRS statistics of income files, shows the percentage of taxpayers in successively higher adjusted gross income classes who participated in an employer-sponsored pension plan in the most recent year, in the tax year. That's the orange line. Or in an IRA plan, that's the blue line. Not surprisingly, as we move up the AGI distribution, that is higher and higher ranks in gross income, we see higher and higher participation rates. Some expert observers argue against the generosity of this tax preference. They say, well, that's way too much we're giving to the well-off. But I've yet to encounter a critique that compares the net subsidies received under the combined Social Security plus employer-sponsored retirement plus IRA plan. And perhaps such a comparison exists in the academic literature. I've yet to run into it, but it would be nice and a worthwhile project for an ambitious young scholar to look into this and try to come up with estimates. Well, what is the combination of these two public policy subsidies we provide toward retirement saving? One is Social Security with a explicitly progressive formula, and the other is the subsidy we provide to employer-sponsored pensions and IRAs. I look forward to seeing that study soon. A broader measure of retirement and retiree well-being would include income in addition to money income. The annual CBO analysis of the distribution of income in the United States provides one measure of income, broad measure of income, that comes close, although it doesn't actually hit it, to post-transfer, post-tax income received by Americans, including the value of employer and government subsidies for health insurance, minus direct and indirect federal tax payments, and all of the transfers, whether in kind or cash transfers. Using this very broad definition of net well-being, along with CBO's analytical tools, we can see where Americans 65 and older fit into the overall distribution of well-being, net well-being in the United States. And this chart shows estimates for 2 points in time, 1979, which was the earliest year the CBO performed these kinds of analyses, and 2019, which is quite a bit later, and a recent year unaffected by the COVID episode. The dark blue lines show what percentage of elderly individuals in the United States were in each of the fifth 5 income quintiles, from lowest to highest. 27 percentage points of the elderly population back in 1979 were in the bottom 1/5 of the income distribution. 23% were in the second fifth. That means the majority of elderly people were in the bottom half of the income distribution. The light red lines show the distribution of where the elderly population was in 2019. And there you can see there's been a real transformation in those years. Only 12% of the elderly were in the bottom 1/5 of the overall distribution of net well-being as the CBO measures it, whereas 25 percentage points and 26 percentage points were in the 4th quintile and in the 5th quintile respectively, indicating that the positions of the elderly in the income distribution of the United States, taking account of the most expansive definition of income that CBO uses. And it excludes, their measure of well-being excludes the contributions to household consumption of owning the home you live in. And we know that 65-year-olds have very high home ownership rates, number one, and number two, they have the smallest mortgage and net debt on the homes that they occupy. So I think that if we could have an even broader definition of income than the one CBO gives us, we would see that the elderly population does even better. My reading of these numbers is that not only have the fortunes of seniors improved between 1979 and 1989, seniors' net incomes under the broadest measure of net income available to me to look at nowadays surpass the incomes of Americans under 65. Taken in combination, that means the nation's public and private institutions to boost the incomes and retirement savings of the population past 65 are, for the most part, achieving their basic aim, that is to lift the incomes of the elderly population. And provide active workers with the opportunity to conveniently and reliably save for old age. This is not the same, I should note, as obtaining a decent standard of living in old age. The 12% of the elderly population that are in the bottom 1/5 of the overall income distribution, many of them do have incomes too small to give them an adequate level of well-being. The fact that they have the opportunity, and many take up that opportunity to enjoy a high replacement rate from their earned income while they were active employees, doesn't mean that they have a high standard of living in old age if their standard of living as active workers was very low. But I would say the American system certainly provides the opportunity for people to enjoy a high replacement rate of their earned income while they were working age and working. Thank you.